Sorry, the old Jamie can't get to the phone right now. Why? Oh, because he's dead. Look what you just made me do, Geraldo. Welcome to the video, guys. Yeah, I'm having a bit of fun. Um, I want to do the Deadly Sins video. I've been saying I'm going to do it for ages. I said I'm going to get back to it, but I haven't actually got back to it. So I believe there's 4 deadly sins I haven't covered. The other 3 are already up, so I'm going to cover the 4 deadly sins I haven't covered. And those 4, I wrote them down on a piece of paper here. I just got like a little piece of paper. Gluttony, sloth, envy, and wrath. So let's start with gluttony, because I wanted to talk a bit about, I wrote down a piece of paper. I wanted to talk a bit about buying faster than I watch and, the sake of buying more for the sake of buying more. So obviously when you're a collector, you get into a bit of a toxic habit of, you buy more just for the sake of buying more, as it says on the piece of paper that I wrote down, like, I'm buying faster than I can watch them. And some people might say, oh, I'm also buying Star Wars again and stuff like that. I'm buying too much. I'm buying more than I can watch at any given time. I have probably years worth of content across DVD, Blu-ray, all this that I'm probably never going to watch. Like, there's so much there, it would take me decades to watch it all. So, like, gluttony is a bit of a weird kind of one of the 7 deadly sins. It's kind of a weird one because I am a collector, I'm very much a collector. I like to have access to media. I also went recently to a shop and got like a bag full of things for like a couple of, like, less than $100. So I got some CDs. But also, that raises a question. Can I actually watch all this, or am I just buying for the sake of buying? So that is an odd one. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, obviously, it's one thing that a lot of people have raised with me in the past where I will have stuff in my collection like this, and they're just kind of like sealed, they're just sealed copies. And people have called it out in my collection before. They've said, you buy stuff, but you don't actually watch it. You just have it there for a nice little display, and what's the point of having it if you're not going to watch it? And that's, I'm going to look at that further when I relaunch the channel. All the videos will still remain up, but I'm just saying I am going to relaunch the channel when the move occurs. But there's going to be a kind of way to address that, because I know that's been a concern of some of you. And hand in hand with this, I also kind of want to talk about what's the next actual sin? Um, Obviously Sloth. I'm not actually engaging with the collection, and I'm never watching it. I'm not actually engaging with it. I mean, I engage with it for videos, but am I actually putting it in the player? Am I actually like, am I just getting lazy with watching movies, and I'm kind of like, okay, watch YouTube, and I won't even get something off my shelf? That's kind of sloth, goes hand in hand with gluttony in a lot of ways. But also, when I think of the 7 deadly sins, like, these are ones that I'm kind of on the fence about. Like, I do engage with my collection somewhat. I definitely watch Dragon Ball from my DVD collection. I watch WWE from stuff like, from Tag Classics. Now, you might say these are still sealed. I'm keeping these ones sealed for the time being. But, these are still sealed. So, am I actually engaging with it? Am I actually, what is the point of having them if I'm not going to watch them? And, I'll go into envy as well, because I'm just looking at the deadly sins I haven't covered. But envy as well, chasing others' collections, kind of, there is this mindset, especially when you're having a collection as big as mine, like, especially when I had the bookcases here, and I still got them, it's just they're in another location. When you are chasing others' collections and trying to collect to keep up with others, keeping up with the Joneses, kind of, you do get into this sort of mindset of, oh, I've got to have everything. Oh, they have that, so I've got to have that. For the longest time, people know I watch people like Films at Home, Jeff from Films at Home, or Jeff Ruzio. I'm not sure if that's how you correctly pronounce. People know I watch Serial at Midnight. People know I watch Phil with a double L. I watch all sort of collectors across the space. And a lot of collectors on YouTube have bigger collections than mine. I know there's a guy in America who has a basement full of them. He puts stuff on the cross beams, he puts stuff everywhere, and he has actual aisles of DVDs. So I know there's bigger collectors out there. I know there's people with bigger collections out there than mine. Metal Jesus Full Gaming Collection, Angry Video Game Nerd. All these people have way bigger collections. And to an extent, there is some older YouTubers who I used to watch back in the day. I don't really watch them much anymore, but I used to watch when I was building my wrestling collection. There's a reason why I went and bought all the videotapes. Now, I've been selling my videotapes. I've been getting rid of them for basically what I got them for. But also, I've been buying tagged classics and stuff. But when I look at chasing others' collections, I remember there was a guy by the name of Stevie Breach, and I remember there was another guy by the name of like Gemini 888 that I used to watch back in the day. I think Gemini sold his collection. I don't know about Stevie Breach. I haven't really watched them in a couple of years. But I know that was some collectors I used to watch when I was building my wrestling collection. And my wrestling collection is still here. That is like, I haven't really sold my wrestling collection. I will just give you a brief example. I've kind of migrated them to boxes like this, folding them down, because I do like having them available. I do like having my wrestling collection available, you know? So that's probably the thing. I'm keeping the core stuff, but also you do feel like you're keeping up with the Joneses, and that is a lot of envy, you know? It's like, hey, that person has all the collection. Why can't I have that? Why can't I have something that looks that nice? Why can't I have more? So you start getting into this mindset of keeping up with the Joneses. And it is a toxic collector habit. It is very toxic. So it is very toxic, that collector habit. But also, I get into the mindset of, this is why I didn't buy 4K for a year until I ended up going to the JB sales and spending more than I probably should have. But even then, like, that JB sale was a long time coming. I had been waiting for buy one, get one free, so I could go and get all the titles, and then I also looked and bought a couple that I would think would last me for the next year. So I might not walk into a JB Hi-Fi store to buy something for another year now. You know, that was my big buy, you know? But this is the thing, when you start looking at your collector habits, you start looking at stuff you have. I've also been downsizing my gaming collection. I've been downsizing how many games I have in the collection, how many consoles. Because I have stuff down on the floor here, like my Nintendo 64. Now, I did play Nintendo 64 back in the day. I did buy it back in the day. It's one of my things that I've been playing for a very long time. I remember playing this in the 90s or 2000s, whenever it came out. I think it was the 1996, so I probably played it around 98. But I remember buying and playing games like that. That being said, how much am I actually going to play a Nintendo 64 in 2026? Now, people might say, it's a retro console, you will sell it and you will want it back. I have had that in my collection for years. I've had that sitting there available to me for years. And I really just thought about it and I've said, hey, you know, StarCraft 64 is way overpriced. I don't have StarCraft 64, but I used to have it back in the day. And that is way overpriced. That was the game I'm nostalgic for. I also have GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie. I've got a lot of stuff in that bag. But then I started thinking, my core has always been PlayStation. I've always been a PS2 gamer, a PS1 gamer, PS3, 4, 5. I've been a PlayStation gamer. But yeah, I have every console Nintendo has, basically. I have every console that Xbox have right now, except the newer ones. I have collected a lot of stuff that I don't actually play. So why do I have them? This is the question. So, you know, I've been really looking at, okay, does this console fit in my collection? Does this release fit in my collection? Now, there are stuff I went out and bought recently. I got this for $12. And this is a nice little collector piece that I am like, yeah, I do want this on DVD. It's a Roger Moore Bond collection. It's just DVD. It's a metal tin, or yeah, it's just a tin. And it's got the release in there, you know, it's got a Roger Moore release. I got it for like $12, and I was like, you know, for $12, this is something that I will cherish. You know, it's a tin, it's something that I don't see often. Now, they might do it on 4K, and I might say, yep, that's cool. I also saw this for $15, and I was like, Universe Collection, I do remember the History Channel docos. I got this for $15. It was originally that price at 70 back in the day, and I think 94 at 99, and I got it for 15. But a lot of this is envy. It's like, you know, and also Sloth and Gluttony and that. I know it all goes hand in hand here. But then I have to talk about Wrath. You know, I have to talk about Wrath because that is the one I want to hang on today. That's the one that I want to spend the most time on. You know, I've kind of glossed over the first three, but Wrath is one of the bigger ones. You know, I'm looking at what I wrote down here: toxic collector behavior, format wars, snobbery, moral superiority. And what does all that mean? Well, when I look at Wrath and I look at what I wrote there, toxic collector behavior, I have engaged in toxic collector behavior on YouTube. It's why I've been trying to clean up the channel by doing more positive videos, trying to do more educational videos. I've been trying to do more than just, hey, negative, negative, negative. Now, occasionally I will rip on Star Wars, occasionally I'll rip on Terminator, don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to clean it up a bit because my channel at a certain point just became a black hole for negativity. It just became me getting on YouTube, oh, this sucks, or hey, 4K sucks, or this sucks, and I don't like this, and it just became repetitive of that. So I'm trying to do more positive videos now, and yes, that means I know the videos do less views. I know that positive videos do less views than negative. That's why most YouTube creators are incentivized to create negative videos. But then I looked at the community I was building around myself. It was more reactionary. I want to build something that's thoughtful. I want to build people that come in and say, hey, I learned something from watching your videos, Jamie. Hey, that's pretty cool. I mean, there's still a few toxic comments there that I have to lay the whip down with, but, you know, it is toxic collector behavior. I'm just looking at this thing, because the next thing is format wars. There are people who collect DVDs, you know. There is no reason why, if you collect this, let me just grab something. If you collect DVDs for The Matrix, if you collect those sort of things, or these packs on DVD, and you say DVD is my format, there is no reason why this is bad. I mean, yes, it's not the highest res thing, but you know what? Resolution's not everything. Some people have setups that are still on 1080p. Some people have setups that are still 720p. And if it works for them, why do us as collectors on YouTube and collectors overall have to have this moral superiority of, hey, my collection is better because I've got the 4Ks. I've got 4Ks and my 4Ks are better. I've done this recently. I went out and bought the, I found these in a store for like, I don't know, for $8 or something I paid for it. I don't know how much I paid exactly, but I think I paid maybe $5 to $8, maybe $8. And I got all of Star Wars. It's like, I got everything through to episode 6. I got everything through to episode 6, you know? Like, look at that. I got a lot of stuff in this box set. Now, I did have the 4Ks. I wasn't watching them. I did have the 4Ks. I have thought about maybe buying the 4Ks again. Don't get me wrong. I have thought about buying those 4Ks again just to watch Revenge of the Sith, because that's probably my favorite from the prequels that I will appreciate on 4K. But even then, I've got the Blu-ray. How often am I watching it? I mean, other than these ones that I can still get in JB Hi-Fi and got them part of buy one, get one free, and these were basically all free, these ones, Last Jedi and Force Awakens. If I come past episode 9 at an affordable rate, I might grab that as well. But, you know, outside of that, like, how much do I need? How much 4K do I need? Do I need to have this moral superiority of, I must have it on 4K? Not really. Like, I'm just looking at what else I wrote here. It's like kind of snobbery, you know, it is snobbery. I'm just looking at what I wrote here. I just wrote snobbery. You know, it's very much snobbery there. You know, my writing's not that great, but, you know, I looked at what I was writing there. It's snobbery, you know, it's, and essentially you start feeling like, hey, it's a moral superiority and snobbery. Hey, I got a 4K collection. When you saw my collection, me sitting in front of a bunch of 4Ks right here, I would be like, hey, you need to have the 4K, or hey, you don't need 4K. Meanwhile, it sends the wrong message. Like, I like to have a collection. If I'm going to interact with my collection, then what I've been doing in the past couple of months is saying, hey, but your DVD copy is great as well. Like, your Blu-ray copy is great as well. If it works for you, it works for you. But, you know, there is a lot of things with these deadly sins, you know. Obviously, gluttony, sloth, envy, and wrath. They all go together, and obviously I'll put in the end screens today a couple of the other deadly sins I covered, and maybe another video down in the corner. But I want to know a bit more about, like, how do you guys see yourself as collectors? Like, obviously, a lot of you have noticed that I've changed the vibe of the channel, because it was negative. It was just wrath. I wasn't getting wrath of the collectors, but I was kind of understanding that the toxic behavior I was engaging in, you know, there was very much toxic collector behavior. Me saying, hey, I got this, or hey, knock this release to the end of time. Terminator 2 is definitely going to still get my wrath, but I'm also the mindset that, hey, if Terminator 2 works for you on 4K, watch it. There is no right or wrong way to watch a movie. There is no right or wrong way. There are people right now who stand by these releases. A lot of collectors don't like this and say, hey, the theatrical versions from 1977 and that are the way to watch it. A lot of people don't like the special editions. There's also a lot of people that do. The ones on Disney Plus, there's a lot of people who watch Star Wars on Disney Plus. I'm just saying, if that's your preferred version, there is no right or wrong way to enjoy Star Wars. And this is the moral superiority aspect of it. You know, this is moral superiority. How is it that us as collectors have this mindset that we are better because we have this, or we are better because we have that? I believe it's just false. I think, you know, we as collectors engage in all the deadly sins of collecting. And we all kind of have this superiority or mindset of, hey, our collection's better than the next person. Hey, I've collected all DVDs, but I have more DVDs than them. So they have a good 4K collection, but I have a better DVD and Blu-ray collection. Or, you know, you see collectors who 4K who say, I have the best of the best of the best of the best. Hey, I bought the correct version of this movie with stuff like American Pie. I have seen that a bit in the past couple of months where I think Universal are putting out American Pie on 4K Blu-ray, but also we have the 88 Films one. Now I have the 88 Films one, but I'm not running around the internet saying, I got the better version. Oh, yeah, look at me. I have the same thing. I have Mad Max on the Warner Brothers release, but I also have Mad Max from Kino Lorber. I have both releases of Mad Max. So there is no right or wrong way to collect. And I'm sick of this mindset that we as collectors engage in these things and try to convince people online, especially as a YouTuber. Because my aspect is as a YouTuber, I'm definitely jumping on here talking about this stuff. And I am going to address a lot of things that you guys have raised in the relaunch. You know, I'm going to start watching more movies. I have got a system that I'm going to work out. I just need to fine-tune it. But also, I am very much aware that toxic collector behavior leads to more toxic community around yourself. You know, my fans, I love you, my fans, I love yous, but I have noticed sometimes arguments breaking out in my comment sections about, oh, no, this is right, but this is wrong. And then it's like, we should all just be loving physical media. We're still getting physical media in 2026. It's amazing that we're still getting new releases. Maybe not from Disney, maybe not from certain things now. Even Disney's releasing in America. But it's amazing that we're still getting releases. And what can I say? We need to do better as collectors on YouTube. We have to do better, and I have to do better. So that's why in the relaunch, when I do eventually show you the new collection, I'm going to address a lot of this. I'm going to have a couple of new series that I'm going to debut. I might even bring some old series back, you know, the films that made me or whatever. I've been meaning to bring that back. I might even bring it back. But we'll see, we'll see. But what did you think about this video, guys? Let me know, and I will catch you in the next one, I guess. I will put a couple of end screens here to the other ones. I'll put a couple of other deadly sins here. You can watch them more. And I might include another video down in the bottom corner, one of the bottom corners, wherever I put it. What do you think about collecting? Are you a collector who must have everything? Or have you committed any of these deadly sins? Let me know. Or go and watch my other deadly sins and let me know if you've done them either. Peace.